The evening air felt heavier than usual, not because anything had changed, but because now, everyone was starting to notice. Teni walked slowly along the hostel path, her mind replaying everything from earlier. The looks, the silence, the way Mide had watched her, and the way Daniel had looked at both of them. She exhaled softly. "This is getting complicated," she whispered. "Complicated?" Teni turned. Amaka, leaning casually against the wall, arms folded, eyes sharp with amusement. "You want to tell me what's going on?" she asked. Teni shook her head quickly. "There's nothing going on." Amaka laughed softly. "Teni, I'm not blind." She stepped closer. "It's written all over you." Teni looked away. But that silence said everything. Amaka smiled slowly. So it's true." Across campus, Daniel stood with his hands in his pockets, his eyes fixed ahead. Mide stood a few steps away, quiet as always. But this time, Daniel wasn't ignoring it. "You like her." Mide didn't move. Didn't answer. Daniel let out a dry laugh. "I knew it." Still, no response. "That's why you've been acting like this," Daniel continued. "All this time." Mide finally looked at him, his expression calm, but firm. "I didn't plan it," he said quietly. That was enough. Daniel nodded slowly. A mix of emotions crossed his face. Hurt, understanding, and something else. Something sharper. "Then what are you going to do about it?" Daniel asked. Mide held his gaze for a second, then looked away. "Nothing." Daniel frowned. "Nothing?" Mide exhaled slowly. "She's not mine." That answer didn't sit well. Not with Daniel. Not with the tension building inside him. Not far from there, Sandra stood still, watching them. Her eyes narrowed slightly. She didn't hear everything, but she saw enough. "So this is it," she murmured softly. Her gaze shifted, toward where Teni stood in the distance. Back at the hostel path, Amaka suddenly grabbed Teni's hand. "Come with me." "Amaka, where?" "Relax." But the smile on her face said she had a plan. Moments later, they walked straight toward the same spot, where Mide and Daniel stood. Teni's steps slowed immediately, her heart reacting before her mind could. Mide looked up. Their eyes met. Again. But this time, it wasn't soft. It wasn't quiet. It was noticed. By everyone. Daniel saw it. Clearly. No more guessing. No more confusion. Sandra saw it too. From a distance. Her expression unreadable. But her silence. Dangerous. Amaka stopped walking. Right in front of them. Perfect positioning. Perfect timing. "Wow," she said lightly. "What a coincidence." No one laughed. No one spoke. Teni stood still, caught in the middle. Mide stayed quiet, but his eyes never left her. Daniel watched both of them, his jaw tightening slightly. And Sandra? Sandra turned away slowly. But not because she didn't care. Because she was thinking. In that moment, everything was exposed. Not spoken, but seen. And from now on, nothing would be simple again. The next morning didn't feel like a new day. It felt like everything from yesterday had followed them. Teni sat in class, her pen moving across her notebook. But her mind? Far away. Every now and then she lifted her eyes and found him, Mide, seated a few rows away. Quiet, focused, or at least pretending to be. This time, he didn't look at her. Not once. Teni frowned slightly. Something felt off. "Why is he acting like that?" she muttered under her breath. Amaka, sitting beside her, didn't even look up. "Because he's trying not to feel something," she said calmly. Teni turned quickly. "What does that mean?" Amaka finally looked at her. Eyes knowing, "You tell me." Teni looked away, her heart tightening in a way she didn't understand. Across the room, Daniel watched everything. Quietly, carefully. Now he understood. And somehow, that made it harder. Later that afternoon, the campus was unusually calm. Students walked in groups, laughing, discussing upcoming tests. But for Teni, everything felt distant. She spotted Mide ahead. Walking alone? For a moment, she hesitated. Then, she followed. "Mide." He stopped, slowly turned. For a second, just a second, his eyes softened when he saw her. Then it disappeared. "Hey," he said, calm, controlled. Too controlled. Teni stepped closer. Are you avoiding me? Mide shook his head lightly. No. But his eyes said something else. You've been acting strange, she continued softly. Did I do something? That question hit harder than she knew. Mide looked at her for a long moment. Like he wanted to say everything. Like he was tired of holding it in. But then, he stepped back. No, he said again. You didn't do anything. Silence. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Teni felt it this time. That distance. That wall. And she didn't like it. Not one bit. Okay, she whispered. She turned to leave. But something in her chest didn't let her go far. Behind her, Mide closed his eyes briefly, his jaw tightening. He was doing the right thing. He had to. But why did it feel so wrong? Not far from there, Sandra stood beside Daniel, watching. So, she said slowly, you see it now, right? Daniel didn't respond immediately, his gaze still fixed on them. Then he nodded. I do. Sandra folded her arms. And what are you going to do about it? This time, Daniel looked away. I don't know yet. Sandra smiled faintly, but there was no warmth in it. Well, you better decide fast. Her eyes shifted toward Teni, because not everyone here is willing to wait. Back at the hostel, Amaka lay on her bed staring at the ceiling, a small smile playing on her lips. Distance, she murmured softly. Now she'll feel it. She turned to her side, eyes thoughtful. And when she does, her smile deepened. She won't be able to ignore it anymore. And somewhere between silence, distance, and unspoken truth, feelings grew louder. Even without a single confession, the days didn't feel the same anymore. Everything looked normal, but something was missing. Teni noticed it first. Mide was around, but never close. No more quiet moments. No more glances that lingered. Just distance? At first, she ignored it. Then it started to hurt. You miss him, Amaka said softly. Teni shook her head, but her silence said everything. Across campus, Daniel sat alone, lost in thought, trying to move on, but not quite succeeding. Sandra sat beside him. Stop holding on, she said. Choose something easier. Her hand brushed his. This time, he didn't pull away. Later that evening, Teni saw Mide again, standing alone. Mide. He turned. Calm, controlled, distant. Are you avoiding me? She asked quietly. No, he replied. But his eyes told a different story. Then why does it feel like you are? He hesitated, just for a moment. Then, because I have to. That answer hit deep. You have to? She repeated. Mide exhaled slowly. You deserve something simple, something clear. Teni looked at him, confused. And you're not that? He didn't answer. And in that silence, everything became clear. For the first time, Teni felt it fully. The fear of losing him. And Mide? He felt it too. But still, he chose distance.
For more interesting stories like this, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Our Love Stories by Gibe Masola.